Welcome into the show, Steelers Nation. My name is Jack Sperry, the host of Steelers Talk, and today I'm going to be answering your questions on the black and gold here. There's been a lot of moves that have happened over this offseason. Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, Donte Jackson getting traded, a whole 9 yards, and I can't wait to take questions on this team and kind of shed some light on how I see the Pittsburgh Steelers at this point in the offseason. Before we get into the show today, make sure you guys click that subscribe button and join the most interactive Steelers community here on YouTube with Steelers Talk by Chat Sports. All right, we try to keep you guys involved as much as possible. Breaking news live shows. We have a weekly live show every single Wednesday where you guys have the opportunity to ask your questions and get on the weekly mailbag. I really do appreciate all of your support. So if you want to join a community of 50,000 rabid Yinzers that love the black and gold, do me a favor right now. Click that subscribe button right now. And with that, let's pause and open it up for questions. Starting with my man, Ricky Campbell, says, so do you think the Steelers will get Brandon Aiyuk or Tyler Boyd? If you're asking me which one's more likely, it's Tyler Boyd. Brandon Aiyuk, I think that the asking price is going to be pretty high. The report is they wanted Jacksonville's first-round pick, number 17 overall, plus Zay Jones, a wide receiver, in exchange for Aiyuk, and the Jaguars said no. So with the Steelers, you can assume it's probably a first-round pick, and they might even be asking for like a Calvin Austin III, something like that, another kind of lower-level receiver. And, there's a big debate going on about this on Steelers Twitter or whatever. And for me personally, guys, I don't want to give up the first-round draft pick for Brandon Aiyuk personally, especially when the offensive tackle need has not been addressed. All right, and this is the same thing goes for drafting a wide receiver at number 20. All right, the offensive tackle need is a must. I do not want Dan Moore Jr. starting at left tackle next year. I'd rather move Broderick over to the left side and get somebody in the draft or in free agency to play right or left tackle. But if that's a need on day one, I think the Steelers have to address it. If you trade away the pick, you can't address it. So right now, if you want to get David Bakhtiari in free agency, go ahead. Trade for Brandon Aiyuk. He's a hell of a player. But you have to make sure you get the trenches right, especially heading into next year. So that's where I'm at. Would you trade a round one pick in exchange for a star wide receiver? And make no mistake about it, guys, Brandon Aiyuk is a star receiver. He was second-team All-Pro last year. Amazing route runner. He is the real deal, man. Type yes or no for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time, but give me a yes or no to the question, would you trade a round one pick for a star wide receiver? Then we get one here. K9 Ty says, will Thomas drop to 20? Talking about Brian Thomas Jr., I believe, out of LSU. I think there's a chance. All right, now there's certainly an opportunity for the Jacksonville Jaguars to potentially get him at number 17. Trevor Lawrence, we know, has a big arm. That might be a fit there to replace Calvin Ridley. I don't know, all right? And you never really know how the draft board is going to fall. But I think that there's a chance, given how many awesome receivers there are in the NFL draft this year. And I think there's actually a pretty decent chance because, like I said, you got Adonai Mitchell, you got Ladd McConkey, you got Xavier Legette, you got a bunch of really good wide receivers in that tier of wide receiver. And there's definitely a chance Thomas is there for the Steelers at number 20. Then we got one from Jed Burris, and he says, do you think we trade back up into the second with all the picks we have to give us a first and 2 second-round pick, giving us a shot at 2 good offensive linemen and a wideout? So let me kind of okay. So he's saying essentially use like the 2 third-round picks that we have to move up into the second round. I'm not going to say that it's impossible, especially if like Xavier Legette is falling in the second round and he's still available, and you've already gotten like, say, I don't know, Amarius Mims and Zach Frazier, and he's still available like at the end of round 2. Absolutely, I could see the Steelers getting out and going for Xavier Legette, who reminds me a lot of A.J. Brown. Perfect fit for Arthur Smith's offense. Absolutely fantastic player. I love Xavier Legette. And right now, Pro Football Focus thinks he's going to be a second-round pick. All right, so I absolutely think that Xavier Legette is somebody that's worth trading up for. And if the opportunity strikes, Jed, I would absolutely trade up into the second round with those 2 third-round picks. Then we got one from Fernando Martin here. Oh! Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. This one's coming in from Fernando Martin. Bang! Shout out to Fernando for the $100 super chat. And welcome to Steelers Talk Gold Club. That's absolutely awesome, Producer Cooper. You know what else is freaking awesome? Our friends at Fanatics, and they currently have a bunch of great deals on a bunch of Steelers t-shirts, super stylish, and because it's the off-season, you can get the best deals possible on these t-shirts. Here's one that we have right now on the Fanatics website. It's an awesome, clean, simple throwback Steelers helmet on a black t-shirt. Really good for lounging around the house, perfect for game days as well. You can go chatsports.com/throwback to get this t-shirt in your closet today. Make sure you go now so that you can still get yours in your size. I know they're running out in select sizes. Just go to chatsports.com/throwback right now. Use that link for a special deal from our friends at Fanatics. Then we got a $5 super chat, a first-time super chatter, some Ric Flair drip. Woo! From Pingu says, what do you think about drafting Luis Rees-Zammit? Greetings from Switzerland. Can't say I'm familiar with Luis Rees-Zammit.
So Luis Rees-Zammit is a rugby player turned football player and is coming over to America to play in the NFL.
Is he draft eligible?
I believe he is going through the International Pathway Program.
Okay, that makes sense. Because I was gonna say, like, I've been getting into the film here lately, man. I've never heard of this guy. Interesting idea. What do you know? What position he plays? Running back. I mean, you need a third running back. I wouldn't hate it. Greetings from Switzerland. Appreciate you. And I don't know what the CHF is, but I appreciate your $5 super chat there, Pingu. Thank you so much for your support. Then we got one from DJ KJ, Gold Club member here, says, what are the odds we trade back in the first round? If you're asking me for a percentage here, maybe 10 to 15%, because I really do think that right now we're on a trajectory for them to take an offensive lineman in round one, and you already have 4 picks in the first 3 rounds, all right? It's not like you need a bunch more draft capital, all right? So I think that if there's somebody that they really like there in round 1 at number 20, I think they're going to stay put. I'll probably put it at a 10 to 15% chance they trade down at this point. Then we got one from Z Spot here. He says, what % chance do you give Justin Fields to eventually start over Russell Wilson next year? So another % chance here. So I'll give him, again, a 10 to 15% chance, 10%, because I do think Russell Wilson's going to play well this year. I think that he's a perfect fit for Arthur Smith's offense. I think that pairing him up with George Pickens and whatever wide receiver that they're going to pair him up with is going to be really good. You still got Pat Freiermuth. You got a good receiving back in Jalen Warren. I think the offensive line is going to continue to get better. And, of course, he's got Mike Tomlin as his head coach and that defense to back him up. So I think Russell Wilson's going to be just fine. And barring an injury, I don't really see Justin Fields hitting the field in 2024. I think Russ is going to do just fine. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. What is the % chance Justin Fields starts over Russell Wilson at some point this year? Put it on a scale of 0 to 100 for me down there in the comments section. Then we got one from Marilyn Krieger here. Black Diamond says, you may have already addressed this, but who's our best option for a center? So if you're talking about the best overall solution, it's Jackson Powers-Johnson, all right? All the big center free agents are gone, all right? So I'm not even sure if they're going to sign a center anymore because there's just nobody left available other than Connor Williams, but he's dealing with that ACL tear, and he might not be ready to go for camp. All right, so I don't know if Connor Williams is a possibility either. But right now, I really like Jackson Powers-Johnson. He's the only guy that I'd take in round 1. He's definitely the number 1 guy in this class, really special guy. But I'd also go with guys on day 2. Zach Frazier out of West Virginia, day 1 starter. Cedric Van Pran out of Georgia, day 1 starter. Bo Limmer out of Arkansas, day 1 starter. Graham Barton, day 1 starter. There's a lot of guys in this draft class that can start on day 1 at center, in my opinion. And I think that that's certainly something that they're going to address by the end of day 2, so the end of round 3 in this year's NFL draft. Then we got one from Ant Dollar Sign. Says, do you think we will use Justin Fields in Wildcat situations like how the Saints use Taysom Hill? Ant Dollar Sign, yes, absolutely. All right, it would be malpractice not to use Justin Fields in this manner. All right, now is he going to be on the field like all the time? No. Okay, like they're going to have a package for him. They're going to have certain plays for him. They might even have some packages where Russell Wilson and Justin Fields are on the field at the same time. That would be a lot of fun. And then also, I think that he's going to be the 4th and short, 3rd and short, 4th and goal kind of guy, where he's going to be like the QB sneak quarterback. He's going to be the tush-push guy because he's big, he's strong, and you know that he can get that push, all right? So I do think Justin Fields is going to have a certain package, and he will play in 2024, but I just don't think he's going to start over Russell Wilson. Then we got one from Ethan Browning, and he says, what are the chances that Donte Jackson gets moved to the slot next season? This is an interesting question, Ethan, because I think Dante has the skill set and the physical profile to play in the slot, all right? He's like 5'10", all right? That's super short for an outside corner. He's fast. He's shifty. I think his aggressiveness and his physicality would really work well in that, like, Arthur Maulet blitzing nickel cornerback role that Mike Tomlin utilized when Mike Hilton was here. I really think that'd be good. But obviously it depends on who they bring in at corner via the draft or via free agency. They obviously still have a need at that position. And he's only played outside corner throughout his career. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what the Steelers decide to do with Dante. We know Mike Tomlin likes to move guys. He moved Patrick Peterson to safety a little bit. He tried making Kevin Dotson into a left guard. That didn't work. He's a right guard. So Mike Tomlin has a history of doing this kind of thing, and I'm not going to completely rule it out because I do think Mike Tomlin likes to do this. So will Donte Jackson be moved to the slot? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. I certainly think it's possible. I would be interested to see what it would look like, especially if Corey Trice Jr. comes in the camp next year and absolutely starts balling out. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section with a yes or no. And that's going to be it for this week's mailbag. Thank you to all of you that submitted questions this week. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button right now if you haven't already. And then join us every single Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our weekly Steelers Talk live show where you can get your question on next week's mailbag.